Welcome to this ASQ webcast presentation sponsored by ETQ titled How SkyWater Transformed Quality from a Cost Center to a Profit Center. I'm Pablo Baez with ASQ, and to introduce our speaker and get things started for us, we have Jennifer Bianchini of ETQ. So Jennifer, presentation's yours.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thank you everyone for joining us today. Also joining me is Tom Perkins, Operational Excellence Program Manager at SkyWater Technology. So today we're going to cover three key areas. The first is a brief overview of how the value of quality drives the business. Then Tom will share with us SkyWater's ROI journey. Then we will share a little bit of information about how ETQ can help you build an ROI business case. And then finally, Tom and I will dive a little bit deeper into his experience of building a quality management system. So let's begin. So we've heard from our customers that it can be challenging to get funding for their quality management system investments. And what we hope to help you with today is to provide you with some guidance on the information that is needed to build an ROI for a quality management system. Taking a step back and looking at an entire organization, you can see here how quality has an effect across a company. Investing in a quality management system benefits everyone, from the CEO, helping them to drive consistent business results, to the CIO, and compliance for managing quality across the product lifecycle. And then the COO for improving operation efficiency and much more. When you invest in a quality management system that delivers value across your organization, you have a system that supports continuous improvement of quality for customer satisfaction, product safety, and regulatory requirements. So, how do you get there? Let's start by showing the business value a quality management system will add to your organization. It's more than saving money. It's about investing in money to help the top line, the revenues, as well as cost. And quality helps to drive revenue by increasing productivity. It helps to eliminate the labor-intensive work that might take place on a daily basis. And if you have happier employees creating better products, you will have happier customers because of the better quality products in the market, which brings better products to market faster. So, how do we make sure we are investing, especially today with the economic headwinds and the things that can get in the way of investing? We start by helping everyone understand how to put the best case forward for investing in quality at this time, especially when the organization is balancing competing needs and the organization needs to invest wisely. We want to help you put the best case forward for a wise investment. And the reason for that is because at ETQ, we are passionate about bridging the gap between quality and the business and understanding the ROI. As quality professionals, we talk about what you see here in the yellow sticky notes: continuous improvement, quality events, Six Sigma or nonconformance. They are very focused on quality. What we don't do is talk in the business terms that you see listed, such as profit and margin, ROI, expenses, or revenue in the pink sticky notes. But there are several areas in which quality does get into, let's say, crosses over into the business, like warranty, recalls, scraps, and waste, and the orange sticky notes. So they have a real impact on the organization. So when we go from talking about the items from quality to the items that talk about the business, because the warranty, recalls, scrap, and waste start to drive results when it comes to increasing revenue, reducing expenses, and increasing margins. This becomes even more important for public companies where the annual report has this information. This is very valuable and very visible. So, as quality people, we have a real impact on our company's positioning in the market. And not just for products, but for the financial markets too. As we move forward, another thing to keep in mind and to help keep the conversation going with those within your organization who will approve the funding for expanding your quality management system is you need to position the conversation with language that is in their area of focus. So we have a few examples listed here, and I'll just go through one or two of them. For the first example, your primary focus may involve reducing the cost of poor quality, such as scrap, rework, or complaints. But when you're discussing this with the folks who will approve the funding, consider language that supports improving the quality and profitability of your products. This is more relatable to them. Another example we'll go through briefly is when you're looking at reducing the risk of noncompliance. While you may be focused on decreasing the audit findings, consider language around ensuring the organization is demonstrating compliance to all regulatory frameworks and your customer requirements. So now let's talk about another tool that you can add to your quality management business case tool belt. It's an ROI calculator. We developed an ROI model at ETQ that was built with the input from a dozen customers who use ETQ Reliance on a daily basis. And we looked for where they saw the value. Based on their feedback, they identified 4 key areas where a quality management system adds value. And with that, they also identified 14 key metrics. The key areas are around productivity improvements, cost saving, and revenue growth. The first is reducing the risk of noncompliance. An example of this is saving time on audits and reducing the number of audit findings. It's about ensuring you have the information you need during an audit. Next is streamlining operations, such as, were you able to react more effectively to complaints? Or the processes that you might have in place when a supplier delivery arrives and you need to do inspections. There was a lot of improvement in the number of hours and people that are needed for when a quality issue does arise. So, looking back at these first 2 items I mentioned, the time and the level of effort into addressing each of these areas, they are soft cost. The next 2 items focus on hard cost, such as improvements in scrap, fewer recalls, and reducing inventory carrying cost. And then there is growing and protecting revenue. This is through improved customer satisfaction. Having customers buy more of your product, or word of mouth, or social media that allows the message to be taken to a broader audience. And then last, there's reducing the time of bringing a product to market. This is a new revenue opportunity. So for each of these four key areas where a quality management system adds value, we've also been able to measure the improvements in each one. Looking across all areas from reducing the risk of noncompliance, where we saw there was a 20% reduction in the time spent planning and reporting audits, to looking at streamlining operations. There was a 15% reduction you see listed here in the time spent managing supplier deliveries. For reducing cost, you can really start to see significant savings. So for example, the 3% in the reduction in scrap cost, this can be turned into hundreds and thousands of dollars for many organizations. In all of these areas, you will see an improvement in the top line and the bottom line. This is what a CFO or the folks who will approve the funding for your QMS really like to hear. These are actual benefits our customers achieved. So what we'd like to do next is share with you that no matter where you are in your quality journey, ETQ is ready to help. From calculating the ROI for your business case to mapping out your deployment strategy or providing any level of onboarding support you may need. ETQ Reliance will help you to reduce cost, streamline operations, build compliance in your processes, and mitigate supplier quality risks, all resulting in improved efficiency, time to market, sustainability, and bottom line results. So now what I like to do is turn over to Tom and allow for him to share with us how ETQ helped SkyWater build an ROI business case.
Thank you, Jennifer. Again, my name is Tom Perkins. I'm the Operational Excellence Program Manager at SkyWater Technology. So our mission is to co-create possible. And really, when I think about that, it applies to our business, but it represents the partnership between SkyWater and ETQ. Working with ETQ really does allow us to co-create the possible, utilizing the tools that ETQ makes available for a enterprise quality management system. And next slide. So, who is SkyWater? So, we are a semiconductor manufacturer. We have a unique model because we have a manufacturing as a service as well as innovation as a service. We take the customer's information and turn it into solutions for them utilizing the tools that we have. And we have world-class capabilities. We have long standing relationships, collaboratively working with the developing and manufacturing teams. And next slide. So we have two locations, headquartered in Bloomington, Minnesota, just outside of actually the Mall of America. It is our main location that maintains various certifications. Pretty much if it has ISO or AS in front of it, we are certified to it due to the various businesses that we operate in. We also have a location down in Kissimmee, Florida. This is about 2 years old, and we are 9001 certified and also DMEA, Cat 1A trusted, pending. And then also in partnership, um, we are going to breaking ground in West Lafayette, Indiana, where this will be our flagship location, full automation. It is pending CHIPS funding, and it will take about 30 to 36 months to begin production. One thing you will notice is all of the locations are in the United States, and that is what sets us apart from any other semiconductor company. We are the only US owned and located pure play foundry. Nothing leaves US soil, which is enticing to different government programs or whatnot. So as we talk about our journey, we developed our need as we looked at going from a people-based process to system-based processes. We had antiquated document management system, heavy use of spreadsheets and emails, multiple systems, and there really was no easy way to drive systemic improvements. In looking at as we expand SkyWater, how do we utilize best in class processes that are scalable? So we went through a initial requirements gathering. We identified 3 providers, obviously one being ETQ, demoed the solution, and then really went through and said which tool or which provider offers as many check boxes of our requirements as possible. And out of that came the front runner, which was ETQ. And it was based on some key decision factors. Because it is a SaaS-based system, we needed to make sure that it had GovCloud capabilities because of the work that we do, and the full solution availability. So not only is it a quality management system, it's also a enterprise health and safety solution as well. And really what I call it, it is our business management system. If you look at the typical systems in a company, you have your ERP system, your MES system, and then we have our business operating system, which is ETQ. The biggest decision factor besides the 2 I mentioned was really the ease of use, and being able to adopt this quickly throughout the organization. So beginning of last year, we purchased and we went with the core applications, life science, compliance, health and safety, and environmental management. Quickly, we realized the benefit and the integration of the other modules that were available. So during the period in 2022, we also purchased all remaining modules except for the supplier management application set. So it leads us to our implementation. During 2022, we released 5 modules. During 2023 year to date, we have released 6 additional modules and also purchased supplier management. And our plan for 2024 is to release an additional 5 modules, but also integrating with our data warehouse for seamless pulling of information. So instead of having to look up a name for a part number, it will go to our data warehouse and retrieve that information and pull it into the ETQ forms, making life easier for the end user as well. So when we talk about ROI, this really was a driver for the purchase of a EQMS. What it means to us is moving from reactive to proactive. So instead of fighting fires, we are proactively using the data to identify improvements. It also helps eliminate the non-value added activities, so we utilize the out of the box functionality that's provided from ETQ and configure it for our needs, but really trying to stay true to the out of the box functionality that is based on industry best practices. And then ROI means becoming a profit center versus pure overhead. So when we look at reducing costs and risk of non-compliance and growing and protecting that revenue, we want to ensure that we are doing everything in our power to not be what is called pure overhead, but actually provide value to the business utilizing the systems that we have. Uh, One of the key things that um, really helps is speaking the language. If you're in quality, we speak a language of reducing scrap and whatnot, but really you want to speak the language of the executives of finance, that by utilizing a system like ETQ, your cost of quality or cost of poor quality decreases. And then also tying that to the bottom line. Are there hard savings? Is there cost avoidance? Is there risk reduction? And more importantly, the time savings. And if in a paper-based or a spreadsheet-based system, say for corrective actions, and that, how much time does it take, follow up and whatnot, versus having it in a system like ETQ where things are automated, where notifications are going out, where dashboards are instantly available, that you don't have to spend time. And that all contributes to the time savings. One thing that we also talk about is the more you use the system, the more you increase that ROI. So as we launch more applications, we're very strategic about how we launch them. And in a lot of implementations, it's document control and training management that are the first modules. Well, for us, that wasn't as important as a audit management or corrective and preventative action process, where we can really start seeing where there are trends in nonconformances and be able to drive those systemic improvements in the process. So the more that we use the system, the more that our ROI increases. So it was not all a bed of roses. Some of the speed bumps when doing the ROI was finding that relevant data. We did not have a central repository. There were things in location A, B, C, and trying to pull them all together to get that data to support the ROI. Um, Validating the data. How much time does each activity take? Is the data is it accurate? Really taking the time to go through and ensuring that you have good data helps on the ROI journey. Also, account for scrap and rework, those hidden factories. I say hidden factories because most companies do not do a great job of capturing rework or scrap. And as I always say within SkyWater, if it has re in front of it, it is non-value added. Rework, reduce, etc. Um, the other piece: measure, measure, and then measure again. Bring the data to the forefront. We have all this data in a central system now, and having the information available and bringing that data to the forefront, reviewing it with the right leaders, every 6 months, and go through there and show that sense interception of a particular module, how things have trended either downwards or upwards, depending on which way you look at it as a positive, and letting them know that um, what this has done for the enterprise. We've reduced our repeat corrective actions because of being able to relate them to previous ones. Utilizing the audit management module, we've identified more findings because we have a systemic process of using the system and guiding and going from there. So you really want to bring all the data that's there into the forefront.
All right, thanks for sharing, Tom. That was really insightful. I appreciate that. So, I think Tom would agree. As you can see here, with ETQ, you're in good company. We serve hundreds of customers of all shapes and sizes across many industries. This slide gives you a sense of our range from discrete manufacturing, food and beverage, consumer goods, pharma, medical devices, and more. We apply learnings and best practices from across all of these industries to provide a unique value to all of our customers. For over 30 years, ETQ has empowered quality champions to use quality management as a catalyst for business success. We offer a flexible, scalable, easy to use quality management solution that's purpose built to connect quality processes to all areas of your organization. We also have industry knowledge experts across many industries, and this is also reflected in our diverse customer base. We aim to be a trusted advisor to our customers, helping to guide them along their quality journey. Also, we're part of Hexagon, a global leader in sensor, software, and autonomous manufacturing solutions. Okay, so let's take this time now for um, Tom to share a little bit more about his ROI journey. So, Tom, sometimes we all know that putting an ROI together can be a daunting task. When you put your initial ROI together, what challenges did you face, and how did you gather the data that you needed to build the ROI?
Thanks, Jennifer. First, I'll say that um, working with the account executives at ETQ, they really helped to formulate that ROI, and they have templates available of how many corrective actions or how many non-conformances or anything, And it was really beneficial to utilize that to think about all the different ways of the data. And as I mentioned during the presentation, um, one of the challenges is finding that data if you do not have a central repository. And as SkyWater was originally a single site facility, very much people-based, documents all over the place, and talking to the right people and finding the data, and getting that information and then validating it. Is this accurate? Is this the relevant data? And I do have to say that ETQ was a great help with making sure that we had all the key items that we would want to look at from an ROI, and to be able to turn that into it is not spending money as much as it's an investment in the company and in the in improvements to really affect the bottom line. Because if we're not improving, then it leads to more work to be done to have that bottom line improvement that we would see. So really, that challenge is finding the right people that had the relevant data, and then making sure that it captured everything that we wanted to include in that ROI.
Oh, thank you for that. And you mentioned a couple times finding the right people, and I think that also helps to bring home the point that we talked about earlier in the presentation, um, how we stressed it's important to speak the language of the business. So I was curious to know, how did you translate quality to business so your management could understand the value of a QMS?
So putting a cost on various things. So a external audit finding from the certification body. How much time does it take to, if you're issued a minor nonconformance or whatnot, of how much time does it take to really address those? And those are hidden costs, because you just go along and you don't really think about how much time is and how that translates into money. So, asking, um, the people within the quality group of, if there's a external finding, how much time do you spend from um, issue to having it closed out by the certification body, and then applying a fully burdened rate to that, and saying, for every audit finding that's external, this is what it costs, or for every customer complaint, what does this cost, and going from there. So it really was putting um, dollar amounts, time amounts onto all the aspects, and then turning that into the bottom line of here's how much it costs us with our system, and here are the inefficiencies. For example, a corrective action prior to ETQ was done in a spreadsheet, and how much tracking had to be done, and constant reminders, and sending emails, and carrier pigeons, and anything else to get things moving. And really, that's really non-value add time. So showing that there will be efficiencies gained from utilizing a system like ETQ, but also it will make our processes more effective as well.
I like that, carrying pigeons. Well, I think people can really appreciate that when they see a dollar amount tied to something. It can be really eye-opening. Um, so another challenge we've heard about from our customers is getting people to buy in. So how did you go about obtaining buy-in throughout your organization? And what was the reception of the C-suite when you approached them? Did you have to put an initial ROI together? What did that look like for you?
So, interesting question. So, getting buy-in was easy on some fronts because the my directory manager is the vice president of quality, EH&S, and operational excellence. So he owns the majority of what ETQ is utilized for is EH&S and quality for us. So for him, it was easy, but it also we also don't typically do a ROI like I did, but I really wanted to show what this um, what this purchase would do for the company, and put together a presentation on here is where we are, and here is where we want to go, and identifying that gap, and then um, really talking about ETQ and what ETQ brings to the table for us. And you know, for the VP of Quality in AH&S, it was easy, but for other C-suite, this was a non-budgeted purchase, so I really wanted to cover why this is the right time to do that, and presented it to the relevant stakeholders, and because of the work that was done up front on the ROI, it actually made it a lot easier. There really wasn't any question. And again, speaking that language of the business. And so when it got to the finance, it was there. It showed the ROI. It showed that we're going to improve our processes. So it helped there. The other piece of it is, you know, I own the system. I'm invested in it. It's tied to my short-term incentive plans of getting modules out and being used, and uh, showing that it wasn't the wrong purchase. That really ETQ is giving us the value that we expected, and um, it's been easy to show that as we launched additional modules. And like I said, I own I own it. I'm talking to you right now, so that means it's a good thing that I'm still with SkyWater. So it's you know, I believe wholeheartedly, and I believe the executive team agrees that it was the right purchase.
Well, we always love to hear that. Thank you. So before we depart today, do you have any final words of wisdom or lessons learned that you'd like to share? And maybe you'd like to share what's next on your journey with us.
Sure. You know, through this journey, some things that I've learned is pace your rollout. Although you want to launch everything at once, really structure it in a way that people get used to a new system, even if it's a new system in a way of going away from spreadsheets um, or Word docs or whatnot. It's still a change and it's an adjustment. So pace the rollouts. One of the things that we've done is after we go live with any particular module, we follow up at defined intervals, typically 30, 60, 90, and 180 days, to find out how are things working. And it's not just with the modular owners or the stakeholders, we're talking to end users as well. Because if I talk to our doc control administrator about document control, he's going to have one view. He knows the system inside and out because he's using it every day. But really talking to people who don't use it all the time, and is it is it easy to use? What are some of the things that you would like to see improved, and then incorporating those into changes to the modules. So very much working with the stakeholders. The other piece is don't aim for perfection. We learned this early on, that if you try to get everything the way you think you want it, excuse me, um, you'll never go live. So if you can get it 80 or 85% there, go live, collect data, then see if it is working the way that you want it, or do we need to um, change the forms or layout of the workflow. But you need to have data in the system to be able to evaluate that, because when you look at a blank slate, everything looks great. But then when you start putting data in, what's next on our journey is continuing to launch additional modules through next year, and and also continually improving on the existing ones. So going back, let's say the 180-day mark, and just checking in to make sure that everything that they want in a system is in there, and go from there. One thing about words of wisdom, lessons learned, I forgot to mention, and I really was thinking about this, is rely on your account executive during the process of ROI. They have a wealth of knowledge to help you um, put together things for an ROI, give you information, talk to other customers or whatnot, utilize them. That's what they're there for. And they are a valuable resource when going through the selection and purchase process.
Well, thank you for that, Tom. And I think you really do have some words of wisdom to share with our audience. So thank you so much. We really do appreciate you taking the time to be with us and sharing your ROI journey with ETQ. And we'd also like to thank our audience for joining us. We hope that you all learned some helpful information. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. And then, Pablo, I'll turn it over to you in case you have any closing remarks as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to Tom and Jennifer for taking the time to share this valuable instructional presentation. I mean, everything from putting together an ROI to getting buy-in and implementation. It's incredible. And thanks to ETQ, of course, for bringing together the speaker and presenter and this presentation for our members. And for those of you that would like to connect with these folks, we've got, I believe, another slide there with the contact information. You can email them at sales@etq.com. You can also check out their website at etq.com and their resource repository. That's at etq.com/etq-resources, which includes case studies and reports and webinars like this. If you'd like to learn more about the topic through ASQ, you can visit asq.org and check out our global search, which is asq.org/search. And that has over 50,000 resources, including case studies, courses, webcasts like this, and downloadable resources. So with that, I would say thanks again to our sponsor ETQ and to our speakers today. And we hope to see you all at our next webcast event.